Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WTF1 podcast. Don't know why it's elongated or why I've started doing this introduction, but hey, this is the way the world works. Welcome to the Russian Grand Prix preview podcast. And joining me on this adventure, talking about the wonderful Sochi, is Mr. Tom Bellingham, the WTF1 founder, and recently recovered from our road trip, which you would have seen on our YouTube channel, went up yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. And Katie, the WTF1 editor, who's just rocking, chilling. How are you, Katie? Obviously, you weren't with us in the van, but
I wasn't.
Sorry, there wasn't any space for you unless
That's
you
right.
wanted to be at in the
Some people
trunk.
thought you were in the box.
Yeah, I know. Which I mean, it was quite a small box. I know I'm quite a small person, but that really would have been quite a skill to fit in that box. But it wasn't to be.
But it was not. It was. Well, I won't spoil it in case you do want to go and watch it. Anyway, just want to say this video is sponsored by F1 Authentics, the home for official F1 memorabilia. You can get the ultimate F1 gear, including sports artwork, signed photos, and authentic mini helmets. We're actually doing a couple of competitions with F1 Authentics right now over on our Instagram to win things like, I don't know, a mini replica helmet of Lando and George. Isn't it 1:2 scale, so half the size,
yeah.
which is pretty awesome. And also you can get your name printed on the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix checkered flag. So some very cool prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is visit f1authentics.com to find out more about what they do. There you go. So let's dive into what we're expecting for the Russian Grand Prix. I've noticed as well, the lighting's not great in this room. So apologies for looking much darker than the other two podcast members. But let's talk about rain. And weren't expecting to be talking about that because I don't think we've actually seen a rainy Russia, have we?
Ever?
No.
I don't think we've ever. I don't seem to remember it. Just the thought of it being rainy is very strange to me because I just don't remember it, even though there's not really a valid reason why it wouldn't. It's not like, Abu Dhabi or whatever, where it's really unlikely to rain. It's not out the question. We've just never had it because Sochi just likes to be boring.
Ooh.
Well, and it's spicy take number one, and we're 2 minutes into the podcast. Nice, Tori. I mean, I completely agree with you. And maybe we're going to get something a bit more exciting.
I hope so, because I think we all have an attitude towards Sochi, which is that it's not particularly exciting. It's very flat, and the actual circuit layout doesn't exactly provide for thrilling racing. But yes, we have a forecast for big rain showers or just storm or whatever tomorrow. As you can tell, I'm not going to make it as a weather forecaster in the future. But yeah, it's going to be wet, basically.
It's going to be wet. It's going to rain.
100%. Literally 100% chance all day. They've literally... they've literally rescheduled the calendar. Not rescheduled the calendar. Rescheduled Formula 3 already because that was going to be Saturday morning,
Tomorrow.
Right?
I think so, yeah.
Saturday morning, and now they're doing that race this evening. So they're already anticipating it, and I think we heard a bit of team radio, didn't we, at the start of FP2, because I think the teams are a little bit nervous that we're talking rain, we're talking Spa washout. Like I think they said 25
to 50 millimeters of rain, which is a big amount of difference there. 2.5 centimeters, in fact.
If anyone saw any of the footage pre-race, you saw the F2 paddock, didn't you? Completely
flooded
underwater.
Yeah.
The mechanics it was literally up to their knees as they were walking around. And it sounds like it could be something similar to that. So
up to their knees.
Yeah, they're genuinely like there's pictures like up to them.
Wow.
Because the car was on like the stilts or whatever you call it.
The
stilts stand. And the water was like they were there stood next to it, literally like wading through this water. So classic. This year is just, I mean, I can't complain because it's an amazing year, but we've wanted rain for so long, but we only get too much.
It's either too little or too much, or the right amount, but just after the race. It's just, it seems to be a very strange thing to now have anxiety around. whether it's going to rain. O'Nizzle22 says, would they do something similar to Spa if the rain is bad enough, or just cancel the entire race and possibly reschedule? Well, it seems as though they are taking every possible action they possibly can to make these sessions go ahead. And, there was, wasn't there chat in one of the free practice sessions this morning where they were saying, okay, we'd probably try and get qualifying in late Saturday afternoon. I think Red Bull were asking, is it going to be Sunday? I think both are definitely possible, but the problem is the schedule for Sunday is actually very busy. So fitting in qualifying on a Sunday morning is probably going to be a rather early start if that is the case, which isn't ideal. I think I remember there was a Japanese washout, wasn't there once, Tommy, where did they have to do it on the Sunday? This is going back many years.
It was the typhoon.
But it was on at like 4 a.m. or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, Aussie fans are probably like, first time?
Yeah.
So
Japan,
so we'll see.
2019 that was. So
2019, I was thinking of an old.
There was one in the
one.
Schumi era as well.
Yeah, that's the one I remember.
Yeah.
All those years ago in 2019.
Hey, the pandemic has caused the perception of time to be completely.
I've literally
altered,
reached
so.
that. I've reached that age now where I forget like what happened in 2019, but I have like photographic memory of like 2004 and stuff, and I don't understand why.
Welcome to long-term memory, my friend. Yeah. That's it. But it does seem as though they're obviously doing everything and taking every necessary precaution to make sure that another Spa doesn't happen. But it doesn't seem as though Sunday's going to be that rainy, though. It seems like it was just Saturday, and Sunday should be clear.
Yeah, I think it's mainly Saturday that's been really heavily affected, which is better than what we had in Spa, because obviously Spa was all Sunday and you couldn't have the opportunity to like move that to a Monday really or anything like that. So at least we can have race day be relatively okay. Obviously, weather can be a pretty temperamental thing and it's sometimes quite difficult to predict. So fingers crossed that we don't have any things affecting it on Sunday. But yeah, Formula One or the FIA even have got themselves into a little bit of trouble here, because the F3 finale was meant to be in Austin, and they have moved it to Sochi this weekend. So we had the F1, the F2 and the F3 all happening. And now that's already a really packed schedule. And now we're having rain affect it. So everything's really being compressed together. So obviously it's a Formula One weekend. I'm assuming that will take priority and stuff. But yeah, it's I'm really hoping it's not going to be a complete washout tomorrow, but I have a gut feeling that we could see that.
They finally got F3 and F2 back together on the same weekend, and then it's almost like the worst timing possible, because they're going to have to try and fit in everything. We said in the Spa podcast, didn't we, that surely they take priority of F1 over these things, but then it's difficult that like F1 wouldn't move their qualifying first because they need to do FP3, and then there's other series and stuff. But I can't believe, that what are the chances that we've actually got this really packed schedule in Sochi where we've finally got F3 and F2 back together, but it's not really worked out, because it really does. I mean, it's going to have to be so much rain tomorrow, which it sounds like it is going to be, because I think the main problem with Spa is that the nature of the track as well. The mist, we said, like hangs in the air from the trees and stuff. Sochi won't have that problem, but it will have the problem if it, like you say, is a flood.
And I'm wondering, because it is so flat, how the drainage will work. Obviously, these tracks will have to go through grade 1 processes to make sure that in the event of, heavy rain and stuff, that drainage can work its way out and not cause flooding on the track. But yeah, that's something that I'm interested to see how that's going to work, and if the infrastructure at the circuit is enough to deal with all of this rain that is forecast for tomorrow.
Well, from previous pictures of earlier on in the week, no. So
nice.
We'll see about that. But we will be live with our qualifying watch along, all the same, on the
7
WTF1
hours
YouTube channel.
We
will sack it off if it is flooded and we're just waiting for the sake of it. But we will be there. We'll give it a go. It'll be either myself and Katie or myself and Tommy. I think Tommy, if it is flooded, you're going to be on the memes, because that's the only thing that really happens in flooded sessions. But if for whatever reason, maybe it's clear, who knows? But not clear, but we can actually get some qualifying and George Russell gets P2 on the grid again. That would be quite something, wouldn't it, to behold? Really, still upset that I missed that qualifying watch along, but yeah, it's fine. It's cool. It's okay. It's good. Good time to have a holiday, Matt. Yeah, sweet. Sorry, Tommy, what were you gonna say?
No, it's going to be actually quite the rain. I guess it is more likely that they're going to qualify in the dry on Sunday. But if they do some wet running, and you've got and you've got Verstappen and Leclerc at the back, you've got the potential for it to be a massively mixed up grid, which could be juicy. It's about time that we had some craziness in Sochi, isn't it?
And we'll speak about that shortly. We interrupt this WTF1 podcast for a very quick chat about our sponsor for this episode, LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Today, many small business owners are busier than ever. Time spent searching for and interviewing candidates can take time away from managing and growing a business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has made it easier to get to the candidates worth interviewing faster, and it's free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network with over 30 million people in the UK. Focus on candidates with the skills and experience you need. Use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified of people. Then, use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing faster, and you can post a job for free. Just visit linkedin.com/WTF1. Again, that's linkedin.com/WTF1 to post a job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Right, let's get back to the podcast. We've got another question from Team WTF1 member JRob89, completely switching up what we were speaking about, just with why does Valtteri Bottas like Sochi so much? I appreciate the change of tone here, Tommy, with the questions. He likes it because he's quick round it, and to who it may concern, to who it may concern. That's it. Although he definitely shouldn't have. And he definitely shouldn't have said it the last time he said it here because Hamilton had a penalty, and it was like you didn't actually have to beat anyone. I don't personally speak to Valtteri Bottas, so I can't tell you, his exact reasoning.
Just drop him a WhatsApp.
He's and I'm sure he's to be fair, he has shown people WTF1 memes before, hasn't he?
They've posted a picture of it on the Mercedes account of him like showing one on this throwback.
Katie's just learning this. Amazing. I don't know. Anyone got any more insights as to why Valtteri Bottas likes Russia?
I just think it's really, really strange because you don't. Now the car performance is such a huge factor in Formula One. I remember when I was growing up, you did have drivers that take to certain circuits and do a lot better. Thinking like Schumacher at Spa, or even like Kimi Räikkönen at Spa would do really well. Damon Hill at Hungary, going back further. It's those kind of drivers would like really suit a track, and no matter what car they were in, and you don't tend to see it now because the car performance is so good that, if Charles Leclerc wins Spa in 2019, he's not necessarily going to be absolutely amazing there because the car was nowhere near as good. But for some reason, Bottas just really does have this like gift around Sochi because he was amazing in the Williams as well. Like you look at all his results in the Williams, I know the Williams were a lot better then, but he absolutely, obliterated Massa. He was pretty much on for a podium.
He nearly got pole one year,
nearly got pole one year, got a podium there. Would have got another podium for Williams. He's just unbelievable there, and it's such an odd thing because I don't feel like it's that different to many other tracks. It's not like a Monza or something where it's so different, or a Monaco. It's got lots of 90-degree turns, and
it's similar to like
turns.
Baku, isn't it? Really, in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
Russia. But it's a very meh circuit, in my opinion. Apart from obviously the very long turn 3, which is obviously awesome to watch the cars go round there, and I guess into the braking zone of turn 10, is it? Where you've got the 90-degree right, then the left.
I don't want to kick.
Sector.
Yeah, I don't want to kick Bottas down.
You don't want to kick him? Okay, fair.
No, don't want to kick him. No, don't want to kick him. But his, I of all the circuits you can be an absolute master at, why Sochi? It's probably think, couldn't it have been like Monaco or Spa or something?
Yeah.
Like, like a proper classic where, if you're winning Monaco or Spa every year, you'd go down in history, even if you didn't win championships and stuff. But Sochi, it's like, okay, you're really good at
We're
Sochi.
getting rid of it off the calendar soon anyway, aren't we? It's being replaced. So
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were sneezing. Sorry, Tommy.
No, I was
strange
praying.
sneeze.
Yeah, so a few Bottas Sochi facts. So Bottas has never qualified or finished outside the top 4 at Sochi. He won here in 2017, which was his first Formula One win, and in 2020, and got pole here in 2018. And in terms of the actual track itself, Sochi's got quite smooth asphalt, which is something that Bottas seems to do well at. So that could also play a part. But yeah, it's
the Smooth Asphalt Championship, Valtteri Bottas, the champion.
I think there is something called that. I forget what the championship's called, but there's like another, obviously, non-official championship of tracks like that I think he does really well at.
Third for Williams in 2014 in qualifying, and then got a podium in the race, not too far off Rosberg, which is, why is he so good?
It's a mystery, isn't it? An absolute mystery. But hopefully, well, I say hopefully, he'll have a great opportunity, obviously, to get pole position and potentially win the race. But then also, there's no Verstappen. Perez looks very much off the pace. So it's going to be Hamilton sat behind him at the very...
I just realised I should probably put this question next. I was very much...
Okay, that's fine, Tommy. No, don't you worry. Look, we're flexible. We can change the sheet at any time. So miraculously, the next question comes up from plays_Rio. Could this be Bottas's only win of the season? I don't think it will be, because as I was just saying, he's going to have to let Hamilton through. Verstappen starting at the back, which we will get onto very shortly. Perez looks not particularly good, and to be honest, if the Mercedes are faster than the Red Bull, or at least on par, I don't expect Perez to be beating the Mercedes. I think that it's looking very unlikely unless Hamilton has an absolute shocker of a start, like we saw in Monza for sprint quali, and basically ruins his own race. Then perhaps, but I can't see it happening.
No. I would love it if Bottas could win, because I think they said on the Sky Comms that it's effectively a year on Monday since he won his last F1 race. And, not to put a dampener on his move to Alfa Romeo, but I can't see him winning races there. Hey, 2022 regs could mean that Alfa Romeo are the dominant team. You never know, but it seems relatively unlikely. Obviously, there are other tracks this season that Mercedes do particularly well at, things like the Yas Marina or Circuit of the Americas and stuff like that. But yeah, we're getting closer to the end of the championship, and there is, Hamilton versus Verstappen. They are the only two that are going to be going for that title. I would imagine that Mercedes, knowing that Bottas isn't going to be staying with the team, like they don't have to worry about that kind of loyalty and keeping him happy for next year, like he's gone, that they'll just say to let Hamilton go through, if it's because every point will count at the end of this championship, which is not something we have seen for quite a while, because normally it's just Hamilton sort of running away with it. But this year, like, really it is a case of every little last point is absolutely vital. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll give him a win as like a little goodbye, see you later, but I doubt it.
Yeah, not
No
quite
chance.
in the heat of the
not in
title
the title battle.
Toto might have a change of heart.
Yeah, sorry, Lewis. And then Lewis loses the title by like 6 points.
Yeah,
Like, probably should have not just given a sympathy. The thing is, as well, with Max and even Leclerc's looked pretty good. Starting at the back, it doesn't seem like it's the kind of track where anyone's going to get anywhere near the Mercedes. So you're not even going to have a situation where Verstappen's in between the two Mercedes and it's like, well, Bottas, you win the race because it's taking points off Verstappen. I cannot see it being anything other than either Hamilton beating Bottas at the start and winning, or the two Mercedes going off at the start. Hamilton's minimum going to be second, and then they let him through. Like, I can't see anyone else getting in the mix there. Unless it's a
Here we
wet
go then.
quali.
Yeah,
Unless
wet
it's a wet
quali,
quali.
crazy
and
grid.
Hamilton's 15th or something. Who knows?
Clip that. I reckon that's going to happen. Heard it here first.
God, no.
We interrupt this WTF1 podcast for a very quick chat about our final sponsor for this episode, Manscaped. Make sure you're keeping things fresh this fall with the leaders in male grooming and their brand new 4th generation performance package. Join the 2 million men worldwide using Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code WTF1. It's time to bundle up with the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. Manscaped has even thrown in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Get comfy on the home and on the go this season. So what are you waiting for? Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code WTF1 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code WTF1 at manscaped.com. Make your balls a priority this fall. Choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. That's enough, Bottas. Yeah. Got his porridge ready for Russia.
Bottas porridge.
We've mentioned briefly about Verstappen, but also Leclerc. Both of those guys looking good, but also both have engine penalties, which is disappointing, I suppose, for both of those, but should make for an interesting Russian Grand Prix to see those two coming through the field. Ange31U or Angelou. Do teams take the engine penalty at tracks they're strong or tracks they're weak? I think they take the engine penalty if you're in Verstappen's shoes for whenever you have a penalty coming over into the next race, which is something that people have been questioning quite a bit. And maybe we touch on that a little bit as well, is that, some people are going, is that fair? Is that fair that they've taken a penalty or changed the engine so that they start at the back, so then it basically nullifies the penalty he was given for Monza? And I saw someone else say this in response to it, is that Formula One's all about taking penalties strategically, and that's part of the game. And you can't just be like, well, actually, no, you have to start 23rd now because, we've still given you a +3 grid place penalty. So for me, no, I don't have a problem with that. As for the taking engine penalties at tracks they're strong or tracks they're weak, I don't think it's a case of strong or weak. I think it's a case of, is there opportunities to move forward easily? And of course, Red Bull would kind of force the hand of, we're going to have to take it at Russia, but Russia's an okay track for overtaking. It's an extremely long straight down towards turn, which is technically 2, even though it's turn 1, really. I mean, it's a kink that's turn 1. So I think it's more about whether they're not going to take an engine penalty into Monaco if they can't, if they, can basically avoid that. So I think it's more about the opportunities.
Like you say, F1 is all about finding loopholes and stuff. And we see it all the time of like Mazepin getting a penalty in qualifying, for example, and he's already starting last and he gets given a 5-place grid drop. Like, obviously that has no influence because he's already starting last. So it is something that happens, and Red Bull, I guess, is smart to take an engine penalty while they've already got an existing one. But yeah, to me, it makes sense to take penalties at the tracks that maybe they're not as strong at, because otherwise, if you go to a track that's really suited to a Red Bull and you have to start from the back, you've got less chance of actually taking full advantage of the fact that you're competitive at that track. But also, if your car goes kaput and you need to take an engine penalty, then you can't really be like, oh, well, might be able to hang on and try and do it at the next race. Like, you just got to take it when you got to take it. So, yeah, I mean, it was inevitable. We knew this was going to happen. So better for them to take it now than...
It's a proper no-brainer, wasn't it, really,
for
Verstappen, because he's not going to be... And I think they deliberately waited just in case a miracle that he might have been faster than Mercedes, or they see how he was. But it was pretty obvious from FP1, it's still a Mercedes track. They're still going to walk a 1-2. I start third, or qualify third. I'm going down to 6th, 5th, whatever, going through.
Hold on, pause. Hold on.
I couldn't remember. It wasn't the maths. It was the I couldn't remember if it was 5 or 3.
Well, you couldn't remember it was 5 or 3, so you went from 3rd to 5th.
I don't know why I said 5th. My brain just completely went, because I thought 5 place grid penalty, and then I went 5th.
You tried to shrug that off, and I was like,
it
absolutely
made it
not. We
even
need
worse.
to bask in the glory of the founder not being able to do a simple plus
It's been a
2 or
while.
plus
It's-
3.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he goes through the field and he's finishing third. He could still legitimately come third from last.
You could do a Bottas.
Well, 2018.
I love how that's become a thing. Like, do a Bottas
Do a
now.
Bottas.
Do a
is-
Bottas.
yeah.
Although for Bottas to do a Bottas, you'd need Hamilton and Verstappen to crash. So
Yeah, exactly. But
that's true.
But I can totally see them sacking off qualifying completely. Literally,
yeah, there's no
point-
reason
no point going out.
unless they need more data to just tootle around.
But it's going to be
do some
wet,
long
so
running.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
What's
Yeah,
the
it's
point?
gonna be wet.
Trim all the wing out, kind of like Bottas did at Monza. So you've got an amazing straight line speed, so you can breeze past people on the straight. It'd be so much quicker.
But the difference with that is, and I think they were speaking about it in the broadcast, was that it's not as simple as just whacking loads of wing off, because Russia's very different to Monza in the sense that Monza, there's a lot of straights, and of course, you've got some chicanes, but with Russia, it's a much longer, much more technical, especially last sector.
Well, I mean, like everything they can do to make it easier for overtakes.
Oh, yeah.
Not setting up the car like a Mercedes would, where they know they're going to be on pole, so they make it terrible to follow.
Well, it didn't sound like they'd started that way, though, because Max was saying there's no way I can overtake with this downforce or something, which was interesting.
Which I kind of took maybe that's them essentially testing it on other cars now, maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I was looking back at 2018 because Verstappen again had engine penalties. Do you remember when they used to get engine penalties for every single component, and it used to add up?
Yeah,
in 2018,
and used to be like a 70 place.
I was literally looking at the penalties from the 2018 Russian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen had a 43 place grid drop. Ricciardo had a 40 place grid drop. Gasly had a 35 place grid drop.
Oh, that was so bad, wasn't it?
Hartley had a 40 place grid drop, and you never knew who was going to be
where. Yeah,
because they'd all just change all their engine components and drop back. But yeah, Verstappen in that finished fifth, and you'd argue that 2021 he's got a much better car than he did in 2018. So you're going to think he could still legitimately finish third from starting last. If he starts third, he's probably finishing third. I'd argue even if he started on pole, he's probably going to finish third behind the two Mercs at somewhere like Sochi. So yeah, complete no-brainer. But it makes the race exciting because you've got him and Leclerc who's looking quite good.
Coming through the field,
essentially guaranteed some overtaking because they're at least going to get past the Hasses.
Watch them finish 19th and 20th now. Like they can't even get past the Hasses.
Yeah. Verstappen frustrated after 49 laps behind Mazepin.
Next up, Alex F173353879. Who will be first to take out the polystyrene blocks at turn 2? Well, now Tommy has gone public on Twitter and complaining. He's gone complaining about the turn 2 polystyrene blocks and how they're situated, positioned. But now that Tommy has complained, saying it's going to be carnage, I then responded to his tweet saying that it's going to be the cleanest turn 2 Russia has ever seen. And you just watch. You watch on Sunday. Trust me, they're all going to go single file, lovely jubbly, not one piece of contact.
I deliberately put in brackets F2 or F3 because there's absolutely no.
Yeah, true, very true. It is weird, even the commentary team, everyone seems to be of the same opinion. Why on earth are they there right next to the wall when the change of direction that you have to do? And Perez went through it pretty damn quick in free practice just gone. And yeah, it makes you wince a little bit. You go, well, why is it so close? Like, obviously, we saw Sainz absolutely yeet his car into the wall when he misjudged it. Was that 2 years?
That was last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
The years all roll into one.
I feel like F2 did it a couple of years back before that.
That was with Jack Aitken, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Jack and Mazepin, I think.
Might have been, yeah. You can never get a Formula One driver to take that at a sensible speed. In a race, that, like you say, they're yeeting it through there at the highest possible speed. They're taking it as fast as they possibly can. And it's going to happen. You can watch Gasly, or even Perez was quicker, but it was still a bit more sensible. You can watch them do it in practice and go, okay, this works. Absolutely no way they're taking it at that speed if they are off at turn 1 during the race.
Mm-hmm.
No because it's desperation, isn't it? Yeah, turn two.
God's sake.
The first real corner. But it's desperation, isn't it? If you go off there, just losing half a second on lap 1, turn 2 could be 2-3 positions
in the race.
Yeah. So
it's awful. I hate it so much, that turn. It's literally the worst turn. And I've got a theory that we know we're not going back to Sochi. And there was loads of talk. I think it was last year where they said it's time to change that turn. They've literally gone, we can't change it. So we're just having a different race in Russia. They've just gone, we can't change it.
Nah.
Been off the track. Try something different.
That would be quite the decision to make, and probably not very cheap to do, but maybe. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be the first to take out the polystyrene blocks. I did a Q&A on Discord this morning with some team WTF1 members, and I said that I thought maybe Yuki would be the first one to fall victim to that,
and cause his 5th red flag of the season.
Your words. But maybe. Yeah.
No, I think it'll be Mazepin.
You think it'll be Mazepin?
Yeah.
I mean, who are you going to say?
But I guess if he's last, he will be ahead of.
He'll be fighting ferociously with Mick Schumacher,
and Leclerc and Verstappen at turn.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, it's gonna be good.
The thing I don't like about that turn, though, and is exactly what happened with the Sainz thing. There's one at Paul Ricard, right? But it's fine because there's plenty of room. There's a wall that spears like that, and it literally, like, you hit it and then you're launching back in the direction of all the other cars, which we know is the worst possible thing. That's why there's so many complaints about Eau Rouge and Radion, that the barrier throws you back onto the track, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And I just can't wait for them to genuinely not race there again, not just because of how boring the track is, but just because I feel like that's just a disaster waiting to happen. I think there's been some very near misses.
I mean, Sainz last year, that he was so lucky not to get taken out at all with anyone.
Yeah.
So for those of you wondering, this podcast is not sponsored by Sochi Autodrome. We're not trying to sell tickets to any event ever that happens at this racetrack ever again. Next up is... Sorry?
Everyone loves Sochi, don't they, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my favorite track.
Wonderful.
I'm sure there's going to be all 2 people in the comments going, hey, I like Sochi. Why are you being so hard?
Well, we might love it if we get the craziest race ever on Sunday. So, we didn't like Paul Ricard, and then we were all basically
we've got our duty to Formula One to jinx this race hard. And we're basically roasting.
What a boring race we've got coming up on Sunday. It's going to be
awful.
Don't even bother tuning in. No point. Okay, let's talk about some predictions. Predictions for the Russian Grand Prix. I've gone for Bottas on pole.
Ding.
Well, no, actually, because it's going to be raining, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, he's going to choke.
And also, wasn't it Drive to Survive where he deliberately maybe bottled it because he didn't want to be on pole?
Oh, yeah, he was given a slipstream, wasn't he? Yeah, to Verstappen, I think it was, wasn't it? But yeah, that's very true. Sometimes starting P3 is the best place to start on the grid. I think that's where he was, Bottas, when the 2 Ferraris were on the front row.
Gasly pole
So,
then.
I mean, Gasly looks very good as well, has to be said, apart from losing his front wing on the sausage curb at turn 2. But I've gone for Bottas on pole, and Kimi outqualifies Antonio, which looks even more likely now that Antonio has absolutely binned it into the wall. And I'm just very briefly on that incident. I could not stop laughing at that piece of debris that was just windmilling at the back of his car. Well. It was incredible.
It reminded me of like someone like, when like football take their shirt off and throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It looked like his car's trying to take off. I love how he's hit the wall so hard and gone, yeah, I can drive this back. Yeah, no problem.
Did you see the thing we retweeted from the pit lane channel? The savage fact.
Let's read that out, shall we? Because that is quite... I mean, it's from the pit lane channel, which for those of you who don't know is on F1 TV.
I feel like they did... We've not seen this as much now, but I feel like they used to do quite savage stats occasionally for like certain drivers. That was like,
I don't think they mean to
10 DNS. It's just like badly worded.
It's really badly worded. Let's read this one out then. So it's come up. Giovinazzi's literally just hit the wall, and we're seeing a replay of it. And the statistic is Russia, Sochi Autodrome. Antonio Giovinazzi, his biggest contribution to the Russian Grand Prix history was managing to take both Grosjean and Ricciardo out on the first lap of the 2019 race while he was able to continue. Now, for me, whoever's written this stat is either a massive Grosjean or Ricciardo fan and is still bitter from 2019. But I mean, how has that got through the system? And everyone's got, you know what? That's a great stat. Let's whack that up. He's just
blaming a driver. Did he get a penalty for that? Like, was it
I remember
clear and obviously his fault?
No, but he was the one. He was sandwiched in the middle, wasn't he? Do you remember? I think that was the one where it was 3 wide, and it was like a.
Just saying, Wikipedia on the opening lap, Giovinazzi was squeezed by Grosjean and Ricciardo. So it sounds like it wasn't.
Do you not remember it, Tommy? It was 3 wide, Giovinazzi in the middle, and they both came in.
Oh, and and it's the classic situation of turn 2 just being absolutely the worst corner in the history of Formula 1.
That was turn 4.
Okay, turn 4.
It was the next right-hander.
Yeah. But
I thought you said you had good long-term memory. Sorry, Carol.
It's only 2 years ago.
2019.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point.
He said he had good 2004 memory.
Still technically long-term. But anyway, yes.
Yes. It's not exactly like he's lunged from 50
there was nothing wrong with
taken them both out.
He was merely existing. And,
you think that's Guan Yu Zhou putting that fact in? He's just like trying to sabotage his Alfa Romeo chances.
Remember, Giovinazzi is really bad and he'll probably lose his seat.
It reminds me as well of the Ferrari tweet when Verstappen took Kimi out at Singapore, whatever it was.
This was both a factual
tweet. No need for speculation or something. Anyway, Tommy, your predictions, please.
Verstappen not in the top 5 in the race, so 49 laps behind Mazepin, and 2 Mercedes and a McLaren on the podium. I just want it to be a bit different than going Mercedes 1-2, and I'm a little bit unsure about that now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you've locked in. There's no changes.
No, I've locked in, but a great chance for a podium for a lot of drivers by now, because with essentially that 3rd slot on the podium is there for the taking with McLaren and Verstappen at the back.
And Perez just not seeming to be anywhere, which is it's a big moment for Sergio with Max at the back.
I wish. I think championship that you don't even think about. You don't even think that's easy. Perez in 3rd.
Yeah,
we're not even discussing it like that. It's.
I don't think he will. I genuinely don't think he will. So let's see. Wasn't it you that wanted to do the prediction after you'd said those 2 last time, saying that you wanted to predict that Max would beat Sergio, even from like the back of the grid or something?
Yeah, it could happen.
I think it probably will. Katie, your 2, please.
So my first one is track limits controversy, and my second one is Stroll outqualifies Vettel, the old podcast favorite.
To be fair,
I think Stroll could actually do really well here.
I would double down on that with the wet qualifying. I'd be like, yes, please.
I've actually put a bet on, not that I'm encouraging it or anything, for Stroll to be on the podium, because I thought, do you know what? Why not?
What were the odds?
I don't know, but I would have got a lot of money back. So Stroll, you know what to do, babes.
I love that would have, as if like you've already lost.
I mean, it's quite an ambitious one.
I think it would need to rain on Sunday, and it seems to be less than 20% chance of rain right now on the weather forecast for Sunday. So good luck, Stroll, but I don't think that's going to happen. The fans for the 3 predictions: Ruben GNW, Hamilton wins by passing Bottas under team orders, 1 point. S. Marconzo, Alonso podium. Kovacs L. Checo podium. I mean, if it isn't a Checo podium, I think Red Bull aren't going to be best pleased, are they? Especially if it's a McLaren, Mercedes 1-2. There's a fight in the constructors going on as well. Sergio needs to, rock up and see what he can do.
Dropping off at this time when
a solid P3.
I know it's
a great performance.
Andy did at Monza, but when Bottas maybe looks like he's regained his confidence a little bit and is there to be a wingman for Hamilton, it puts Mercedes in an amazing position.
Yeah,
and they need Checo, like Red Bull need Checo there to help Max.
Indeed, they do. We will find out if he can be that rear gunner. So, I think that's pretty much it for the preview podcast.
Indeed.
Katie, final thoughts?
Final thoughts is I hope people in Sochi have bought some wellies and an umbrella.
Wow. That was so insightful. Tommy?
if I don't do the quali watch along, I hope you guys enjoy the 7-hour stream tomorrow. And
Don't start.
To be fair, well, they need wellies. I'm pretty sure everything's concrete there.
If it's up to their knees in the F2 paddock.
Oh yeah, true. Okay, up to their knees. Okay,
well, no, because then it would just go in.
I was thinking of mud.
Oh. It's better than flip flops, or maybe flip flops would be better.
Just a
I don't know.
swimsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swimming around.
Okay,
I get to see boat races as well if it does rain.
Oh yeah, especially if it's like knee
Well,
deep.
I don't feel like they do that anymore. That's a proper
I don't know why.
2017 thing that was like
fair,
every rainy session it was
Yeah.
guaranteed a boat race. And
Is it in like the regs now or something? Katie, you love a reg, so go check out. Find out if they can't make boats anymore for some reason. Okay, there you go.
Ruins fun.
My final thoughts is can't wait for a crazy George Russell top 5 again. So let's see. Should be quite interesting. Hopefully we do get a qualifying session. That's what I'm praying for. Okay, thank you so much, Tommy and Katie. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening. If you want to get involved next time, use the hashtag WTF1 podcast for all of your podcast needs, queries, etc. We'll be there to potentially include you. That's it. Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the qualifying, non-qualifying, Sunday morning qualifying watch along. By the way, if qualifying is on Sunday at like 5 a.m., there's no qualifying watch along. It's not happening. All right. It might do. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. I might do a solo one from my bed. Right. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Should we ask Frank who's getting pole?
Yes, Frank.
Come on.
Get into these.
Predictions, please.
Frank, yawn if George Russell is going to get top 5 in qualifying. Frank, yawn if Bottas will win the race.
That's kind of a half yawn.
Bottas win. It was in spirit.
Yeah, I think
it
he
was
has
like
to.